Hey there, Mr. Doctor Strangemind. Uh, First, I want to say thank you for being here and being engaged, right? This is the only way that we can spark and maintain a conversation around these very important things that Kokai is talking about and trying to educate us on. And I'm not even sure if trying to educate is the right way to describe it. I believe he's genuinely, sincerely helping us try to learn, right? Because my experience is that the history that I was taught is not our complete history. And from that personal understanding, I believe it's my responsibility to learn more. For me, part of the learning more is knowing that I don't know it all. And there are people in our country that have different lived experiences than I do. And I don't experience the things that they're saying as a distortion. I experience them as their lived experience. And because we are not the same people, I believe that their lived experience is not the same as mine. And so I trust them when they tell me what they have seen and learned through their generations of families. I also know that I didn't have a full understanding of what racism is. And so there was a time when I heard people talking about racism, I didn't have a personal connection or understanding of it. And by becoming open to other people's experiences, the people that have lived and experienced racism directly, I've begun to appreciate what their families have gone through and what our country is. I've never felt as though someone were asking me to apologize for who I am. I've never felt persecuted by any of the people that have been telling me their story, that have offered their story. I've never felt persecuted as a person because I can't know their experience. One of the things I recognize in your comment is your acknowledgement of the difficulty of existence, right? I'm just trying to exist. And I have to assign that to all of us because we live under the same conditions, right? The country is structured so that we live under the same conditions. I think there may be a misunderstanding or a misinterpretation around how, although we live under the same systems and structures, we experience them differently. One of the things that I've learned since following Royal Star is this understanding of impact over intent, right? And it very simply described as when I hear myself saying I didn't mean that, right? When I say things that are harmful or hurtful to a person and they express to me that it was harmful or hurtful and my intention was not to be harmful or hurtful, but the result is the same, right? And that reflects a level of disregard or dismissiveness, and it removes any validation of their lived experience. It's dismissive of another person's lived experience. And along with impact over intent, I've learned about what the tenets of racism are, right? These pillars that uphold this practice in the United States. One of the tenets is individuation, right? My individual experience overrides the lived experience of others. And an individual is separate from. And that is very debilitating. That makes things very difficult. It makes existence difficult. And so racism exists in our country and across the world, And individuation is one of the things that helps perpetuate it. It keeps going. So again, I thank you for being here. I thank you for engaging. I see that you have several comments, which tells me that something compels you to interact. And I'm grateful for that, because if you weren't here interacting, the opportunity to learn new things wouldn't be available, even if there's a resistance to new information. Please remain. These are very important things. My perception, my experience is that this learning is a very patriotic thing to do, and that this process of learning is necessary in healing our country, in bridging the divide of understanding, in broadening our perception of what compassion is, and connecting each other in our humanity without being dismissive of our separate lived experiences. There is inequity in our country. It is written into the law. It is represented in the Constitution. And there were promises made in the Constitution that we have not lived up to. And as a white man, who has been a white man my entire life, I carry a responsibility to resolve the disparity and to contribute to healing our nation. This is my perception. This is how I carry this responsibility. This is my belief. And I'm grateful that you're here. And I hope that you were able to take the time to hear me, even if you don't agree. Thank you. I love you. I hope you're safe. Protect each other. And I'll see you next time.